Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unprofessional with Daniel Sala. I'm your host, Daniel Sala. Great to be back. Second episode back in the new studio. I don't know if I would call it a studio. It's just my back room with some speakers, an actually decent microphone, cardioid microphone, and mixer. It's better than what I've always had, and man, it's just funny because I've just been thinking about how it's awesome to be back, first of all, and the response to the first episode was nice, and I appreciate all the support I get from you guys who have stuck around and listened and have stuck with me through the soft reboot of the show, which is needed. It's awesome to be back. I'm going to post some pictures of the studio that I have set up here in the coming days. I'm going to put all those together and get those posted for you so you can see the little space that I've kind of set up for myself. So, I'm calling it Dentor Studios. Dentor Studios. And story behind the name is I had a grandpa who was one of the best guys I ever knew in my life. Passed away in 2011. Cancer. Sucked. But he was a great guy. He was one of the best guys I ever knew, and he was in the Vietnam War, and me and my cousin were going through some of his old war stuff. He had this, I don't want to call it a yearbook, but it was just like a book with pictures of him and his buddies and just random things, and they had his name listed in there as Dentor instead of Denton. That was his name because he always hated the name Denton too. He wanted to be called Danny, so everyone called him Danny, but his name was Denton. Just one of those old-fashioned manly names, Denton Lawrence, right? And he hated it. But they named him as Dentor in there, and I was just like, man, that is fantastic. I knew that I wanted to use that name in some way, right? Because it's just too great not to. So now that I have this studio set up and I am kind of trying to form a niche for myself, it's just great. I could pay homage to the man, because that guy, he was awesome, and I would love to see what he thinks of this show and kind of what I've been able to do. But yes, Dentor Studios is open for business, baby. I am here. I'm excited. I'm learning the ropes with BandLab. That's what I'm using right now, and it's been a learning experience. I like it. We're gonna see how much I work with it, and we're gonna go from there, man. But yeah, the Celtics Game 4 came back with a fury, right? And that's the thing, like I said in the last episode, is the Celtics can play good basketball. They've always been able to play good to the basics basketball. It's just, I think the referees get in their head sometimes, and especially nowadays, ever since we lost Ime Udoka, which, by the way, he's with the Rockets now. They have a young team that's really hungry, I think, and he gave our Celtics last year a very good defensive mindset that I think we're kind of lacking this year. But I just want to say good luck to the Rockets, Ime, and I hope you guys have a good season next year. With that being said, I think when we lost Ime, we lost some of our defensive identity, because now it's like when they don't make shots, they kind of panic, and they just keep trying to hit threes. Just keep trying, just keep throwing it, and it's like it's like you're trying to throw a pebble into like a teardrop, right? Something like that, for lack of a better analogy off the top of my head. But and then they panic. But like last night, they kept their pace, they kept their confidence up, and Tatum actually made some points in the fourth quarter. Like, that's what they're missing, man. I don't know what the issue is with Tatum right now, if it was just nerves. He is kind of a streaky player. You know, he'll go through spurts where he'll just like be sinking baskets left and right. You can't stop the guy. Then he'll have games where they have to dig themselves out of a hole the next game. Like they have this time, right? We were down 0-3. Now it's 1-3. We're going to see what happens in Game 5 in Boston on Thursday. As I'm recording, this is on a Wednesday. So, yeah, man, the last night's game, it was refreshing to see. It was kind of sad last game because Game 3, they just looked like they gave up in that third quarter. I mean, like I said, we came out looking pretty good, and then the third quarter we started missing shots and we just got dejected mentally, and that just, our game went down after that. But last night was pretty good. Jason Tatum scoring 33. Jaylen Brown still not hitting his normal strides in this series. He scored 17, which is still decent. Al Horford scored 12. It's the best he's looked these entire playoffs, I think. And Marcus Smart with 11. Derek White with 16. And Grant Williams with 14. So it's like once we get our stride going, and I think the key is to stay on it defensively. I think once we start missing shots, they freak out and then they drop their defense, and that's how guys keep scoring on us. And I just think if we stay locked in defensively, and I got to ride with the Celtics, right? But it's going to be tough, man, going back to Boston. We haven't had a good record there at home, which is it's something like 11 and 10. And it's just like in the playoffs, and it's insane if you think about it for a home team to have that kind of record at home. But we'll just have to see, man. The Heat played their butts off too. I gotta give it to him. Jimmy Butler at 29. That guy does not quit. He doesn't quit. I don't give a care what the score is. It was down at the end of the game. We beat them 116 to 99, and Jimmy Butler was on the sideline smiling, and someone online said, if Jimmy Butler is not worried, then I'm not. And I can't argue, man. That guy, you got Bam Adebayo scored 10, 17 out of Gabe Vincent. That man has been straight been going at it, going to the hoops after the game, before the game. I think he's just locked in right now. He tweaked his ankle, it looked like, at the end of the fourth quarter, so I hope he's doing good, but I don't know. I think we can get it to, I want to say we'll be able to get it to Game 6. I don't see us beating the Heat 4 times in a row, as much as I hate to say it. Jimmy Butler's too good. He won't let that happen, I don't think. But I'm glad that Al Horford is able to have this last playoff run. I really was down because I was like, man, this is the man's last year. He's retiring. And if we went out like that, like just with no fight, I would have just felt terrible for the guy. But yeah, man, as I said, recording this Thursday afternoon, so AEW Dynamite is tonight, and we're going to do a little preview of that right now. I got the card pulled up, and got a Ring of Honor World Tag Team match. Lucha Brothers defending the titles against Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta from the Blackpool Combat Club. And I don't know, that match, it kind of doesn't make any sense for me because it's a Ring of Honor World Championship, which I get there wanting to display and promote on their Dynamite show, but Claudio's the Ring of Honor World Champion already, and I just don't see the Lucha Brothers dropping the belts. Next, we have Orange Cassidy versus Kyle Fletcher from Aussie Open. Those guys are really good, man. I like Aussie Open. I like them as far as new teams go. I'm getting sick of I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting sick of Orange Cassidy. He might be an alright guy, but just the gimmick, I'm just kind of over right now. It's not over with me, let's just say. But I do think Orange Cassidy wins. It's just a throw together match. It'll be, crazy moves, and it'll be hard hitting, but it's just not my cup of tea right now. House of Black are going to be defending their AEW World Trios Championship in an open house match against, looks like we got Blake Christian, AR Fox, and Metalik. Metalik was fantastic in the Cruiserweight Open a few years ago. What was that, like 2015 in the WWE? and AR Fox just be getting tag team title shots, getting any type of title shots. And Blake Christian I've seen in GCW. Just another throw together match. We'll see how it goes. It'll be hard hitting, be crazy. See what they did there? The open house match with the House of Black. It's a play on words because House of Black and, open house. And yeah, he's a creative genius, that one. Tony Khan will be announcing, speaking of creative genius, right? The first location of the new AEW show, Collision, which I think we all know will be in Chicago. I don't think that there's going to be any surprise there. He's just kind of stretching out the announcement because I think next week he might announce that, CM Punk's going to be there. That whole situation, I'll get to that on another episode, but man, that's the next episode. I want to talk about is the CM Punk stuff because that stuff's kind of crazy. But next we have Taya Valkyrie against Lady Frost. I'm not that impressed with Taya Valkyrie yet. I mean, I'm sure she's decent in the ring. I just haven't seen as much personality. Lady Frost, I know she's been around. AEW their women's division is not that great for me right now, but they gotta work at it. And contract signing, Double or Nothing, Chris Jericho and Adam Cole. I don't know, man. I've always loved Chris Jericho. He's the man. And Adam Cole, he's got everything but the body. I think if Adam Cole worked out a little bit more, it'd be the full package. I think he'd be pushed to the moon. But Chris Jericho, he's gonna have a contract. We don't know what kind of match it's gonna be. I'm sure they're gonna have a good match. I'm sure Adam Cole's gonna go over. But this is another feud just not doing it for me. We'll hear from FTR. If you've forgotten, which I wouldn't be surprised because they don't show them often, is they are the AEW World Tag Team Champions. And I'm not about this feud with Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Sanjay Dutt. I love Sanjay, I love Jay. Jeff Jarrett was cool in 2005, but I'm just not about it. And I think FTR could be displayed better. And we'll hear from the Four Pillars, MJF, Jungle Boy, Sammy Guevara, and Darby Allin. Here's my take on the Four Pillars. MJF, obviously, I think one of the best all-around talents in professional wrestling today. I think Darby Allin is insanely over with the AEW fan base. And he has that Jeff Hardy type enigma personality about him. I hope he sticks around. He has a in-ring style that's kind of high risk, and he does some crazy stunts outside the ring. He wants to climb Mount Everest, which, all I got to say is good luck to the man. If that's what you want to do, just be careful and be prepared. And Sammy Guevara, I like the guy. I think he kind of needs to step away from the Jericho Appreciation Society and kind of show what he has on his own, because I think he has the ability to be one of the top stars of AEW. If booked right. Jungle Boy, it's not for me right now. It's not for me. I'm not about him. I think he's kind of formulaic as far as his in-ring style, and I think his promos are just thrown together, scripted like promos. I'm not hating on the guy. It's just my preference in wrestling, because Luke Perry's son, for those of you who don't know, Jack Perry, and he's got his dad's looks, and I'm sure he could be a decent actor maybe, but I just don't think he's clicking in this Four Pillars feud, because MJF is going to be defending the AEW World title against Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, and Sammy Guevara. That's why they're calling it a Four Pillars match. It's going to be a fatal four-way, essentially, and it'll be a decent match. I think MJF takes it, and yeah. We'll just have to see. And we'll hear from Ricky Starks tonight, which I think just their handling of Ricky Starks has just been abysmal. And I think he has the ability to be one of the great modern talents of this time. I know he's friends with Cody Rhodes. Will Cody get him in at WWE? We will see. But with that, I'm going to head out, guys. You guys be good to each other. Stay safe. This has been another episode of Unprofessional with Daniel Silo. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Also, I know I said Thursday when I said I was recording, but I'm recording on a Wednesday.